my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Late night when you need my love. And I know when that hotline bling, you know it's me.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday to you. Welcome to TLC. This is the Captain, and yes, we are back, and it feels damn good after a crazy week in sports. It's actually feeling pretty good to sit here and actually know that full well that you have at least one body that can sit here and go. So, joining me today on the Budweiser hotline via the Guinness Drought, we do have ourselves two legends in their own rights and in their own minds in some cases. I'm looking straight at Mr. Barrett for this one. Starting out with the pride of Philadelphia, the man who got more hits than Rocky Balboa. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Reese Borges.
Hey, thank you very much, Captain. I like it. Hey, I can't hang with the stallion on that one, man. I gotta keep it real.
Well, you know how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, he is also joined by the internet stalker himself. Yes, I say internet stalker because literally you cannot go anywhere on the internet without seeing something about him talking about Irish or Cowboys or how much Cleveland sucks or how much he was right. Ladies and gentlemen, the whitest Smurf ever, Mr. Brainy Smurf himself, Doug Barrett.
You know what the sad thing is? I have not bragged too much about being right about the World Series. I've actually been a little nice about it.
For now. We'll see what happens. So we will be talking about the World Series later on in this broadcast, so don't worry, we're going to get right to it. But let's talk some football, shall we? Yes, baseball season is over, but football was still rolling on, and while everybody was getting on the excitement of the infamous World Series heard and seen around the world, no less, there was some college football going on, and the first college football playoff came up right around the beginning of the week, and we have our first four. We have, of course, the Alabama Crimson Tide sitting at the top of the polls. We do have the Clemson Tigers in familiar territory at number 2. Then we also have ourselves a couple of confusion moments. Actually, not completely confusion moments. Only one confusion moment. But number 3 looks pretty good. The number 3 team out of these playoff rankings right now happens to be the Michigan Wolverines, sitting pretty well heading into this time at 8-0. But the team that I'm kind of lost on is number 4, the Texas A&M Aggies, sitting at number 4. Literally proof, I'm sorry, this one probably bugs me a little bit because of the fact that I've been watching a lot of football because I have a lot of time on my hands, obviously. But one thing I've yet to figure out here in my head has been, how in the world did you put Texas A&M, who has one loss and got decimated by Alabama in that one loss, over an undefeated Washington Huskies team who has quietly made their way atop the standings in the Pac-12. Reese, what do you got for me?
Captain, when did the college football rankings ever make sense? Because you just brought it up. If you are an undefeated team, yes, for some reason a team with a loss is ranked higher than you. You already know that something's bullshit with that. I have always tried to figure out stuff. And see, this is why I can't get into college football. Because of shit like this every damn season. And I was like, I'm sorry. NCAA, you were, and always will be a joke for this very reason. And until y'all change this shit, and I was like, I'm sorry. If you are undefeated, you should not be ranked below a team with one loss. Because that's just bullshit.
Douglas, what do you got?
Well, I do agree with Reese that it is bullshit, but unfortunately, I know this from past experiences with Notre Dame when they were undefeated. The committee not only look at the record, they look at who you play at Sally. That is why not only Washington would make number 5, Colorado, who is, I believe, also undefeated as well. I know we have a few other undefeated teams. They're not ranked too well either because they base it on what conference or who you play. But what I find funny is who just lost today? Who just lost? Not Alabama, they haven't played. Michigan's playing right now. Clemson's, oh yes, Texas A&M. You lost today, so that's number 4 spot. Bye-bye. It's going to go to Washington after tonight.
In case you guys are trying to figure out what Doug is talking about, Georgia Southern. Yes, Georgia Southern. The college, the football team that nobody gave a chance to a few years ago, just shocked the world, well, the planet Texas, so to speak, by actually getting a big win today over the Texas A&M Aggies. And just so you know, me being a former Buff, the Colorado Buffaloes are sitting pretty at 7-2. Now, another team that nobody's talking about right now, at least not yet, has been the team that's on the other side of the SEC, the Beast of the East getting its moniker back, the Florida Gators, who have surprisingly, after that very heartbreaking loss to Tennessee, has been on a tear, but quietly, while everybody else is talking about the Tide and the Aggies and the Balls and the Dogs and any other animal that you can honestly think of, Florida is actually making a name for himself in every sense of the word. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about the Gators' chances of at least making it a fight. And Alabama does not look as tough. They just basically can overpower you pretty damn quickly.
Well, that would be true if Florida wasn't getting their asses whooped by Arkansas right now, though. But team's still early, so.
Team's still early. And what the amazing thing is, because no one wanted to talk about it when the poll got announced, and I actually happy we're discussing it, Florida actually has a chance if they run the table and then win the SEC championship. They can actually get into the playoff and be in the top 4. Because they're ranked number 10 right now, I believe. They're somewhere in the top 10, I think.
Not only that, but the very fact that, Florida being able to sit here and do what Florida does best, which is fly under the radar. If they can get their quarterback situation nailed down and keep their guys out of trouble, yeah, rest assured it's probably going to happen. And let's be honest, Arkansas is up ahead by 7 against Florida right now. So I'm not too worried about that part. The Hogs are the same team that got straight bitchified by the Alabama Crimson Tide. So it's only early. It's the second quarter. Not too sweating that one that much.
I would point out as well, since we're talking about the scores right now as well, that Baylor, who can also make the playoff with a little help, they're losing right now to TCU 17-7. So if Baylor loses, that helps a lot of other people out as well.
And another big one. A conference that's actually watching this intently right now happens to be basically the Big Ten, because if Michigan pretty much continues their decimation of Maryland, which I see right now, it's 21-0 late in the second. Ohio State may find themselves in some trouble because they may find themselves on the outside looking in come selection time. It all depends on the game they got tonight against the mighty Nebraska Cornhuskers, who are no slouches whatsoever. They took Wisconsin to the limit, and they still look just as dangerous as it was. Plus, on top of that, you got Alabama taking on LSU tonight. Florida State's pretty much practically all but out of the college football playoff after literally just letting a lead slip past them. But I'm going to say this one about Jimbo. I've never liked Jimbo Fisher. I still hate Jimbo Fisher to this day, but I agree with his assessment about that game. If you're going to hold the players accountable and you're going to hold the coaching staff accountable, then you better damn sure start holding the refs accountable. This is not just college football. This is also NFL, because a lot of NFL coaches are just going to say, I'll open my checkbook and start telling you that I banged your mother last night. If it gets your message across, why the hell not?
Yeah, and I agree with that. I saw that game and I watched replays of it, and most times, we know I'm the one who usually says, coaches fuck up religiously and they should be punished. In that game, oh yeah, the refs should have been heavily fined. I would have probably even wanted to say some of them probably should have been suspended for at least a game or two, because that kind of fucked up Florida State's chance of the playoffs because of how bad the officiating is.
Wait. No. Florida State was pretty much done at their loss number 2. This was loss number 3 we're talking about here. Florida State had 0 chance of making the playoffs unless by some miraculous miracle all the undefeated teams suffered 2 losses all the way down the stretch and not clinch their conference. That's the only way I see happen. Oh, and just for the record, I'd like to apologize to everyone in Georgia Southern. Apparently you guys got beat by Ole Miss. Mississippi State, the Dogs, are the ones that actually took care of the Texas A&M Aggies. So my apologies for the confusion. You got to bear in mind, as I said, it's been a crazy week, and I'm just getting warmed up. But let's get right into the wrestling portion of the situation here. Ladies and gentlemen, we had Hell in a Cell this past Sunday, and nobody gave a fuck. I can honestly say it. Nobody gave two shits about Hell in a Cell except for one match, and in that one match, WWE set its fan base back about 3-4 years. Apparently, what I learned from Hell in a Cell is that Sasha Banks can beat Charlotte on Raw, a national televised audience, but apparently they will not let her beat Charlotte at a pay-per-view. And I actually heard the statistic that apparently Charlotte is undefeated at pay-per-views up to this point. Charlotte has not lost a single pay-per-view up to this point, allegedly. We don't know how accurate this is. You may have to check into the We Talking Wrestling podcast in order to basically make sure it's actually accurate. But honestly, dudes, show of hands, did anybody honestly give two damns about Hell in a Cell, or was it just like, okay, get it done so we can actually focus on Survivor Series?
I was watching the football game that night, so as far as I didn't care. And then when I did decide to watch the only match I cared about, which was the women's match, I was like, it was good, but I think the finish just left everyone the wrong way because we wanted to finally see Miss Banks finally win a pay-per-view match for defending the belt, and that didn't happen. And I feel WWE really fucked up because it pissed off a lot of fans.
Well, hold on, I'm going to counter for that very same reason. That's why the finish was actually the smartest thing that they did that night because, let's be real, Charlotte really has not had like a really, really good heel heat. What better way for her to finally get some than to not only take Sasha out in straight time, but to then beat her in her own hometown to boot?
One problem with that, and I'm glad you brought that theory up. There you go, Savannah Addo. Here's the problem, though. I saw a lot of people upset, but I also saw just as many people happy because the internet darling, as they like to call her, Miss Banks, lost. She really didn't make everyone in. You probably made it split, which unfortunately, what happened next night on Raw? Charlotte was actually getting good. I saw people on Facebook, Twitter saying, oh, there's our great women's champion. And then they started to boo when Bayley came out. And then when Nia Jax came out, everybody died. So, again, WWE booking not that smart. And unfortunately, here's the other problem. You have now made the title and Miss Banks look like a joke because you've been tossing it around like it's a fucking hot potato. How can you care about a title when you keep bouncing it back and forth to the point where it's like, I've seen more people drop balls on Sunday night than I have in this one.
Jeez, Doug, quit talking about my ex-girlfriend like that. That's just mean.
I was actually talking about my ex-girlfriend, but that's the point.
You have a girlfriend, Dungeon Master?
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say, Doug, I barely even remember you with the blow-up doll, much less an actual woman.
That's kind of where I'm standing on. That's neither here nor there. What we do have coming up, though, is in a couple of weeks, we do have what is called Survivor Series. Now, as much as everybody wants to get on about the whole concept of Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar Part 2, nobody cares because they'll probably be screaming out, delete the entire scenario. Now, here's where the real mess is. We have you, jackass. You're a sucky ref. Give him the finger, Michigan. Anyway, it was a touchdown. I'm sorry. I'm calling like I said. In any event, we do have Survivor Series going on just a couple of weeks. We do have Raw versus SmackDown, the first collision course that they have before the Royal Rumble. Now, this being said, number one, Doug, sorry that your Irish lost. Damn, that's got to be embarrassing to lose to Navy. And number two, when it actually sits there and it comes down to it, I'm sorry, I get these updates. It happens all the time. Number two, what I actually sit here and I look at with this whole situation right now is that Survivor Series, now that's a touchdown. Challenge that, bitch. Now, when it actually comes down to it, is that the Survivor Series is coming up. We already know that it's for the big Survivor Series elimination match. We have WWE Kool-Aid champion Kevin Owens and the runner-up for the list of the year, Chris Jericho. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and of course, Seth freaking Rollins going up against the team of WWE's biggest joke of all time, AJ Styles, the world champion in some circles. Then, of course, you have. Wait, I'm sorry. No. You know what, Doug? I'm going to let you have this one. SmackDown's team. Please explain this to me.
All right, if I remember correctly, because I'm being honest, I don't really care for this match.
Dean Ambrose, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, AJ Styles,
Baron Corbin.
And Baron Corbin.
I'm sorry. I look at this match and I'm like, who the fuck booked this shit? And what I find funny is, if you notice, Team SmackDown has one champion in AJ Styles. So they're forcing the Ziggler to face a Raw superstar. So it's like, okay, we're not going to put in a guy who can also wrestle and actually made Survivor Series fun a few years ago when he beat the Authority. No, instead we're going to put AJ and Dean, who ain't going to get along because, hey, they're facing off against each other at TLC. Bray and Orton, okay, either A, they're going to actually work together, or B, this is only ploy for Randy Orton to screw Bray Wyatt over. And then you got Baron Corbin, who I'm personally sorry. If I could choose between watching the Cleveland Browns game or watch Baron Corbin, I'm picking the Browns, because at least with the Browns, they'll have fun. Let's go to Raw. You got Roman. We know how I feel about Roman. Kevin Owens, I like him. Chris Jericho, I like him. And then you got Strowman. Yes, Strowman. I'm not pronouncing by his name. He doesn't deserve that honor. This should tell you how I feel about Strowman. When I think Roman Reigns is a better wrestler than you, I'll go one step further. I'd rather see JTG come back and take your spot. That's how pathetic Strowman is to me. And I'm sorry. If they do have Strowman and Baron Corbin face off in this match for a little bit, the fans will literally say, fuck this shit, I'm out. Oh, yeah, we're going to watch whatever the fucking game's on that night. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Reese?
Oh. How do I follow that one? All right. First of all, truth be told, as much as you brought up that Styles and Ambrose aren't going to get along, hello, do you think anybody on Team Raw's going to get along either?
Jericho and Owens will get along.
For how long, though? For how long? I mean, we're talking about Rollins and Reigns. You're talking about Rollins and Reigns pretty much on that team. Plus, Braun Strowman just found out that he's on Jericho's list. So basically, put it as bluntly as possible, who's to say that all three of them are just going to say, you know what, fuck you and fuck you, I'm out. And just literally leave Owens.
Yeah, Captain, thanks for making my entire point for me here. Because I'm like, hello, at some point, Owens is going to try and screw Jericho over. Reigns and Rollins don't trust each other. Nobody likes Strowman. So I was like, yeah. Yeah, Team Raw's going to be like,
I'm going to counter that.
Team Raw's going to be like a 4th of July party waiting to happen, and SmackDown ain't that much better.
I would agree with that Team Raw won't get along, but there's one problem. What did they just announce as the main event of Roadblock? Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. So as much as Seth Rollins probably doesn't like Roman, he's going to go like this, I can't have KO keep the belt because every time KO's there, Jericho screws him over. So he may tell Roman, hey, let's work together for at least Survivor Series and Roadblock, and then we can go back to hating each other just so we can try to have Kevin Owens lose the damn belt. There's an old saying in life, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and as much as Seth and Roman may not get along, they will at least get along long enough to fuck over Jericho and the KO.
Okay, here's the issue I have with that theory. This thing's not going to last all the way to Roadblock. If you haven't been, now this is one of the part where the trolls are actually on their A game today. The trolls actually have been literally sitting here talking about, oh my God, the chants that happened when Monday Night Raw was going off the air, you cannot deny them in any way, shape, or form. People have been wanting to see the return, the reunion, the revival, all pun intended, of the Shield. You already pretty much have Rollins pretty much doing the face thing perfectly. Rollins with Reigns would make it beautifully because of the fact that people don't like Roman Reigns. But you team him with Seth Rollins, you probably can make at least Roman Reigns likable to some circles. Not anybody out of Camp Barrett's, but pretty damn close. But on top of that, you look at this match. You got Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns on one side. You got Dean Ambrose on the other side. All three of them have the same thing in common. They all want to be world champion, and they hate the current champions that are there right now, who just pretty much just punched themselves a ticket to a TLC match against AJ Styles coming up at, coincidentally enough, WWE TLC. Dean Ambrose. Now, you obviously got to look at the other little scenario. No matter what Stephanie tries to pull, no matter what shenanigans she tries to work with, I got a crazy feeling that not even Triple H is going to be able to sit here and actually save whatever hell happens on this pay-per-view. Because when this comes down to it, they're going to have to let this one roll and see exactly which superstars are the best. Because when it comes down to it, we also have a return coming in a couple of weeks as well. So if anybody remembers Survivor Series a few years back when Randy Orton was the sole survivor, won it for SmackDown, and then the infamous gong came out.
Yes, I remember that.
Now, think about this for a second. In 2 weeks on the 900th episode of SmackDown, we're supposed to get the return of the Phenom. Who's to say we're not going to get the exact same luxury? Say AJ Styles is the last guy standing in his infamous team, and everybody comes and hoists his shoulders up and everything else, or nobody comes and hoists his shoulders up, and then the Undertaker comes out and chokeslams him, tombstones him straight to hell, and literally says he's coming for the title one last time. Think about that one.
No. Hey, I can roll with that scenario, but it's like, will it actually happen? Maybe, maybe not. But it's like,
I can't roll with that scenario for one reason.
What?
And I love The Undertaker. We know I'm an Undertaker fan.
What?
Taker is so old that I'm afraid AJ's work style and work ethic might kill him.
What?
I mean, let's
AJ Styles beats Undertaker? What?
They weren't exactly perfect either.
AJ Styles beats Undertaker? What? You saying AJ Styles is going to beat The Undertaker? What?
I actually do, just because of the fact that if you have Undertaker win, which would be at the Royal Rumble, who would he face then that he would put over at WrestleMania? Because you know he would probably have to put someone over because, let's be honest, Undertaker's Danny Glover.
Simple. Oh, that part's easy. The only person who has yet to hoist up that championship at WrestleMania out of this dog pound, Dean Ambrose.
No. We know how I feel about the Shield. I actually like 2 of the 3 members, but I'm kind of tired of seeing the Shield in the main event. I'd like to see one whole year with the Shield not in the main event.
Would you prefer John Cena? Because I can guarantee you this. Dean Ambrose or John Cena or Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, or AJ Styles. One of those 5 names will be in the main event at WrestleMania, and you might as well just get ready for it because it's either going to be them or Stone Cold or The Rock.
I would probably take AJ Styles or John Cena first and then fuck the Shield.
And that, my friends, is why he is probably the biggest asshole on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial.
and off of it, too.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Matt Hardy would make a better champion than any of the Shield members right now. I'm just saying.
All right, jeez. Okay. While we try to calm Doug down from whatever pedestal he finds himself on at this moment, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking NFL because, quite frankly, we hate Doug that much that we're going to put him in the hot seat. We'll be back after a quick word from, well, I never thought.
Sponsor we got.
Yeah, whatever sponsor decides to actually pick us up this week, that's who our sponsor's from.
Actually, I have a sponsor for us this week.
What?
Oh, Lord.
It's log, it's big, it's heavy, it's wood. It's log, it's fun for a boy and a girl.
I'm gonna
Thank
mute.
you, Ren and Shrimpy.
I am gonna mute this guy. We'll be right back after a brief message from our sponsor. Well, in this case, Nationwide, and you'll see why after this commercial, or well, with this commercial.
Oh my gosh, there's Peyton Manning.
Are you here to sell insurance?
No, I'm here for one of my favorite singers. Thank you so much, visit me. No, it's not, it's Kenny Chesney.
Welcome back to TLC. Yes, folks. I told you guys I was here to have some fun with everybody. And it's kind of fitting that I actually busted out with that one. Thank you, Peyton Manning, for that nice contribution to the show. I can say this much right now. The NFL has not been exactly what anybody expected it to be. Yes, of course, the Patriots are the top dog, are the top dogs of their division, but we already knew that. When Tom Brady came back, we knew he was on a mission from God. I can't believe I'm going with all these Bluesberry references. I wonder why I'm going with all these Bluesberry references, but it will make sense in a minute. But we're going to go straight to the NFL, and we're going to say flat out, bona fide, gentlemen, I'm going to give you a choice. You guys get to pick the hottest and the coldest teams in the NFL right now. And since how Reese, you started up with us on the college football player because you're not a big college football guy, but you had some very valid points nonetheless. I'm gonna actually put Doug on the hot seat because he's tried to avoid the homer, but he's going to have to deliver the homer today, right now, at this very moment, because he even knows it. Doug, who is your hottest and your coldest teams right now?
My hottest team, and believe it or not, I do not have Dallas number one. I actually have them number two because there's one team I have to give credit and why they're the hottest team. The Oakland Raiders, still undefeated on the road. I don't care who you are. You can win that many games on the road. You have my attention. They're the hottest team right now in the AFC, probably in the NFL. Guaranteed. I'll take the Raiders. As far as the coldest, I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings here, simply because of the fact that they started out so hot. Everyone had them in the playoffs. Some people even had them in the Super Bowl, even with all the injuries. And then they lost to Philadelphia, which was okay. And then you made me regret picking you to beat the Bears of Minnesota. You pretty much died to the point where now, if you lose to the Lions tomorrow, there's a chance you go from being a playoff contender to, we are now in trouble in our division because the Lions Green Bay can catch us.
Reese, what you got for me?
Yeah. All right, my hottest team, as much as I hate giving them credit, I was about to say I gotta pick the New England Patriots. As much as it sickens me to my core, because let's remember, after getting embarrassed by Buffalo at home, that's a shutout even. Yeah, I was like, oh, Mr. Savior's back, and did somebody tell this man that he's not exactly pushing 39 or whatever age he is? Because unfortunately, Tom Brady has this sickening ability to be better than to get better as he gets older. I don't know how he does it, but he does. And as far as my coldest team goes, without saying, how can he get any colder than the Cleveland Browns, dude? Like, you can't get any colder than being the only winless team in the league. And sadly, as much as I would love for them to beat the cow shit out of the Cowboys tomorrow, it's not going to happen. Although I do have a little something that says that it might. Despite all their quarterback issues, what have we historically known about the Cowboys? That they have lost to scrub teams too many times in their franchise history. And if you don't believe me, look at the Rams or the Lions before Matthew Stafford got there.
But didn't the Lions have Megatron though at that time? So they should have.
Nope, they didn't even have him.
Megatron.
Anyway, here's the reason why I did not pick Cleveland, and you said it, the quarterback issues. Most times, yes, I would make fun of Cleveland. I would. We know I've done that before in my videos with the Browns. But I've actually have got to say this. I think either I'm going soft or the fact that I have sympathy because their quarterback issues, I think they're now on their seventh starting different quarterback. They're plagued with injuries to the point where I cannot make fun of them. It is now a pity for me to actually make fun of them because it's like it hurts my pride making fun of a team that's got more injuries than I can count. That's why I couldn't pick them. If they were healthy, I'd probably pick them. But all those injuries and I'm waiting next week to get a phone call from Captain Ron saying he's going to be playing for the Cleveland Browns next week because that's how many quarterbacks they come through.
Man, they done went through quarterbacks like Bill Clinton went through mistresses.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's one way of sitting there looking at this one. And then there's also this. I kind of looked at this one very, very hard. And as I've been on that train that everybody else has been on. Now, I've literally stuck with basically the highest team in the NFL right now being the Oakland Raiders. But I'm actually going to throw a curveball. The highest team in the NFL right now, surprisingly enough, has been the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions actually are looking pretty damn good. I mean, wins over the Rams and wins over the Redskins, and they are right now literally one win away from clinching number one in the NFC North. Let me just say that one more time. They are one win away from actually clinching the NFC North, a division that still has at least three, count them, three teams that could possibly be in the playoffs, and that includes the mighty Green Bay Packers. I'm saying Detroit is actually hot right now because they're doing this without Megatron. They're doing this with a coach that nobody gave two damns about in the first place. But to make it even spicier, imagine if Detroit sits there and actually does the impossible, ends up running the table close to that final stretch, of practically everything that sits there and actually happens over the next couple of weeks, couple of seasons. It actually comes down to it. We got ourselves a pretty interesting conundrum going on because something's coming, and I got a pretty crazy feeling that Detroit may actually sit here and stun everybody. So right now at this point, I'm gonna say Detroit is the highest team, but the coldest is not the Browns. And I'm not going to give the city of Cleveland any more reason to hate themselves and want to go and kill themselves, other than obviously the Golden State syndrome that hit them this year. I'm going to say the coldest team in the NFL is the Los Angeles Rams. Oh, yeah, bitches. I'm calling you assholes out. The Rams literally were in the top spot in the NFC West at about week 4, week 5, and then all of a sudden, they forgot how to play. They forgot how to play football. And then all of a sudden, we're walking around here trying to figure out exactly what's going to happen, what's going on, who's going to do what. And then all of a sudden, all we heard, well, to put it as bluntly as possible, was this.
Absolutely.
And that in itself pretty much sits there and seals it up for them. The Rams are back to what they were when they sucked in St. Louis. Now they're swallowing in LA and they're actually getting paid for it. So maybe that's the reason why the Rams need to be in LA so badly. Because hookers apparently were getting a little bit too cheap and pimps were apparently running out of money. What better way to sit there and put money in your pockets than put a shitty football team in there where people would rather watch women's basketball or soccer, or dare I say, tennis, than watch a Rams game. Now, there bears in mind, Carolina is coming into town this weekend, so we know Cam Newton's going to pretty much have a tampon shoved up his ass. So we already know what's coming out of that one. So another loss for the Rams or another loss for the Panthers, doesn't matter. Either way,
Hold on, but Cap,
sure.
I gotta call a little bit with your Rams stick on that one.
Okay.
You just hinted about it. We've seen this movie before with them. Whether it's LA, whether it's St. Louis, we've seen this movie. And especially like after the greatest show on turf got canceled, we knew what the Rams were. And if anybody thought that 3-1 start that they had after going into week 4, as you said, was going to hold up, yeah, sorry, kiddies. It wasn't going to stand no matter what. You knew sooner or later the real Rams were going to come back.
And the worst part about this reality, the worst reality that we're seeing before us here, is the very fact that when you look at everything that has happened as far as the Rams go, the Rams had all the time in the world to try to figure out if they were going to basically step up or step off. And the unfortunate thing is, well, they didn't really do much of anything. They did the same thing they've done time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. Why did I pick the Rams as the coolest team right now? It's because of the fact that I got these bandwagon jerk offs in Los Angeles who decided to take upon themselves to say that I'm being a little too harsh on the Rams. I should be a little more gentle. I should not sit here and just give up the hope that maybe, just maybe, one day these guys are going to be right there at the top of the food chain again. Sorry, it's not going to happen with Jeff Fisher. It's not going to happen in LA. LA is going to have to stomach the very fact that the Rams won a Super Bowl in St. Louis, and they still have a problem dealing with that. They have a harder problem dealing with the fact that they spent $190 million on Albert Pujols and still haven't gotten one of these in a while. That's what's pretty much probably pissing more people off than, well, the Rams pretty much being in where they usually are. On their backs, in the basement, bent over with a camera running. Yes, I just went there. So, I guess this being said, let's talk about the games of the week. I actually sat here and had a chance to sit here and actually take a look at this upcoming schedule. And no, Tampa Bay and Atlanta was not in it. Although Atlanta is probably putting some more pressure on the Cowboys for that best record in the NFC. But
Happy Atlanta won.
yeah, it was Tampa Bay. That was pretty much a given. In any event, I did nail it down to about maybe 4 games that may get people's attention. First off, we got Philadelphia taking on the New York Football Giants. Now, Brandon, I know he's listening now. Brandon actually had he's kind of the epitome of a diehard Giants fan. So I will say this much to Brandon. Brandon is ready for this moment to happen. He's obviously going to be picking the Giants to win this game. Carson Wentz has been kind of flat the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to basically give you guys a choice between the 4 games I've chosen to decide which ones you want to go with. I have chosen Philadelphia and the New York Giants. I have chosen Detroit and Minnesota for obviously the possible possession of the NFC North. Indy and Green Bay because I know how much Doug just loves Andrew Luck and his luck nuts. And then, of course, the big game, the one I'm personally picking and going to be looking forward to, the Sunday nighter between the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. Gentlemen, Mr. Reese, I'll let you start since you are that pride of Philadelphia. I'm going to let you sit here and let your pride shine. Take it away.
I wish that I had some right about now because for the 3rd week in a row, and I know it's going to sound blasphemous to say it, I see a tie. That's right, a TIE tie happening in the NFL. And it was with that very game you just mentioned, the Eagles and the Giants, and the reason why. Because, well, Eli, we know he tends to suck. Like a game where the Giants are in a must-win situation. But then to counterbalance, the Eagles, yeah, their receivers can't catch when they need to. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, do we take Eli's ability to be interception prone or the Eagles receivers dropping balls like cell phones drop calls? You know what? I think chances out we're going to have another tie in our hands. As much as I would love for one of these teams to win, I don't see it happening.
Douglas?
Out of the 4 games you mentioned, the one I'm going to be watching the most and keeping an eye on is the Lions and Vikings, believe it or not. For this reason, it's time for either Sam Bradford to step up and show that he can actually lead an offense to win, even with the offensive line being hurt. Or the Lions are going to prove that, yes, the Vikings have a great defense. Unfortunately, the offense for the Vikings sucks so bad, they can't do anything with it. So something's going to break. I cannot believe you picked a fucking Tyrese. I still want to go to Philadelphia, grab a $3 cheesesteak, and shove it up your ass.
Okay.
You ain't shoving nothing up against me.
Reese, I'm sorry to tell you, but you may need to come up with a safe word before next week's broadcast. Why did I pick actually Denver and Oakland? Because it's pretty much a given. Over the past few years, we've all realized that Denver and Oakland, when they go head to head and they're pretty much in the same building, they're about as entertaining as James Ellsworth's chin. Wait, no. They're about entertaining as no chin music. No. They're about as entertaining as going to the therapist as Dean Ambrose. There we go. Well, let's go with that one. Denver and Oakland literally are sitting at the top of the AFC West right now. Oakland Raiders are undefeated on the road, and they have only lost 2 games this season, and they haven't been by much. Denver is literally tied with the Raiders for the top spot of AFC West, and Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler are nowhere to be found. Bear this in mind, a 7th-round draft pick beat a $180 million man last week when Denver beat Houston. That should speak volumes at what is exactly happening at this very moment. What's happening at this very moment is you got Denver and Oakland, and probably one of the best moments in the history of all things sports. Now,
I'm going to take that even further. The Raiders have been a joke for so long it hasn't been funny. This is the first time this late in the season people are taking the Oakland Raiders seriously. And I'm going to see this. That granted, that the Broncos are a shell of their former selves, and I shit on the Broncos for the preseason because I didn't think they were going to be anything because even with their defense. But I was like, if the Raiders win this game, I was like, I'm sorry, you got to take this team with, well, they're already legit now, but they beat the Super Bowl champions on primetime television. I'm sorry, you cannot call the Raiders a joke anymore after Sunday night.
I think that's about as accurate as you can actually make it. And in fact, I'll even take this one a step further. For all of you fans out there, and I use that term very loosely, like my ex-girlfriend and her mother on top of that, I will say this. For those of you sat here and were saying, well, I'll be able to take care of this. No, trust me. I'm going to say this one just for you. I'm going to make this as bluntly as I possibly can. All you people that have been sitting here jumping on these bandwagons, I have something for your asses. I just haven't figured out what it is yet. But trust me when I say this. When my brain starts working, it's a bad idea to get on my bad side. Folks, as much as it pretty much sits there and pains Doug to sit here and have to literally go with Detroit and Minnesota, it's almost worse at the very fact that literally he wants to shove Philly cheesesteaks up people's asses. So we're going to move past the NFL for a little bit. I'm going to take a little quick moment here because we've been literally going on and on about everything that's pretty much been going on in sports. But I have yet to forget about the fact that UFC 205 is literally next weekend, and we got a shit ton of matches to go through, including Eddie Alvarez taking on Conor McGregor for the UFC Lightweight Championship. Once again, Conor McGregor, who literally survived the Diaz brothers. I will say this. Everybody else will say this. He survived them. He goes up for the lightweight title, and most likely he'll probably be defending his somewhere down that road. But he's not the only champion on this card. In fact, we have 3 championship matches coming up on this one, including the reigning, defending, undisputed UFC welterweight champion of the world, the chosen one, Tyron Woodley. Eat your heart out, Bruce Buffer. I got this. Tyrone Woodley defends the welterweight championship against Stephen Thompson. Not the guy he wanted to fight, in all honesty. He's still waiting for GSP, and I'm not talking Geek Squad protection. He's waiting on George Rush St. Pierre to return, so that way the super bout actually becomes huge. Plus, we got a battle between two Polish ladies, both undefeated, both very dangerous, and both very, very, well, let's just put it as bluntly as possible. For a couple of Polish girls, these broads are pretty hot and pretty tough. We got the strawweight championship going on as Johanna Jędrzejczyk takes on Karolina Kowalczyk. And yes, folks, it's going to be on and popping. Plus, we got the Cowboy, Donald Cerrone, back in action. And, of course, former champ Chris Weidman takes his rightful spot as he starts making that climb back to the top of the food chain for his shot at Woodley for the championship. And everybody's favorite, I guess, what you call it, everybody's favorite wet dream? Yeah, you know what? Let's just put it like this. Miesha Tate, Little Miss Cupcake returns to start her climb back to the championship. And I never thought I'd see the day where I'd be saying, Miesha Tate, I hope you get your ass kicked. Oh, wait, I did that with Ronda Rousey, too. I digress. Miesha Tate will be there taking on The Rock. No, folks, you heard it right. She will take on The Rock. What, are you out? What, is this a dead audience today or something? The Rock, Raquel Pennington, will be facing Miesha Tate in the very first bout of UFC 205. And for once, Dana White, I actually don't want to reach through my screen and slap the hell out of you. Yet. Still got time, though. That is indeed this Saturday night from New York City. So who knows? Maybe there might be some good juju for them. We already know what's coming up in December, that they're having a big bout in the Garden featuring the return of the hottest, baddest bitch on the face of the planet, Rowdy Ronda Rousey. She'll be back in action as she will be going after that infamous championship that she misses so much, because we know she spooned with the title more than she spooned with any man she banged the night before. Any event. Now we got all the UFC stuff out of the way. Folks, we're going to take one final commercial break, and the reason for it is because of the fact we got to get ourselves ready, because coming up after the break, folks, this is it. The moment the world's been waiting for. We're talking World Series, and I'm pretty sure there's at least one individual who has been chomping at the bit to get it out of his system. The final salute is coming up next.
Done it before. Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome back, folks, and a special thank you to Ryan Young for giving us the idea of actually doing commercials, because it gives us a little time to breathe and everything else. And we've had pretty much a lot of fun today. I mean, gentlemen, have you had a good time today?
I've had a wonderful time. Fun times always.
Well, let's see how much fun we're going to have now. Yes, folks, you all know me. You see the banner in the back. You know where my allegiance stands. And I have to say the worst words in the English language to ever put in a complete sentence. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners and new world champions of Major League Baseball. Excuse me. The Chicago Cubs. Okay, yeah, I had to do that. Any Cubs fan who pretty much has gotten drunk with me knows how I am. So, yes, folks, the Chicago Cubs are the world champions, pretty much doing the exact same thing the Cleveland Cavaliers did back in June, coming back from 3-1 down and winning it on the road in enemy territory in impressive fashion. But bottom line, it was a great World Series nonetheless, and a great Game 7. Apparently, the GOAT's now put in a change of address for him. He is now moving from Chicago and is now making his stake in Cleveland, Ohio. Sorry, it's just the way it is. But I brought these two gentlemen together, so I figured they both had something to say about this one. And considering the fact that he's been waiting so patiently and so long, just like he's like a fiend right now. He wants to basically be able to sit here and just be that brainy smurf that he is. We are gonna let Doug Barrett go second. Suck it, punk. Reese Borges, I'm gonna let you take the floor on this one because, quite frankly, I'm just that kind of guy.
Yeah, we all know. But I gotta give them their that. Cubs, you have deserved this moment for like a long time. I gotta say, because and I do have to admit that the one thing that made me pick the Indians almost happened in Game 7 because I was like, for some reason, I see the Cubs getting out to a big lead, which it happened. Then the Indians came back and tied it. And they were going to force this to extra innings. But then, Chicago, you proved that you were the real deal. And historically, teams who have the best record in the regular season, don't fare well in the postseason. The Chicago Cubs, you have become only the fifth team to actually become a World Series champions. After 108 years, you finally broke the curse. And I gotta say this, Theo Epstein, I don't know. I was about to say, what are you not? What's lesser you? You broke the curse of the Bambino. You broke the curse of the GOAT. I don't know what's next for you after this one. Probably going over to the Indians and breaking the curse of the whatever they got.
Major League.
And then if you ever had you had a curse of the wild thing, I guess, for lack of a better term. I don't know. And by the way, Indians, I'm real mad that y'all did not let Charlie Sheen throw out the pitch that would have probably helped y'all win. I don't know. But anyway, Cubs, this is your moment. I was like, I hope y'all don't take another 108 years to wait for another one because y'all got a squad. So I got to give you your dap. Congratulations, Chi-Town. And by the way, I know like all my Cubs friends were like hitting me up after the game's over. And by the way, that parade was one of the sickest things I had ever seen. Great job. Great job. Congratulations, Cubbies.
All right, Doug. Here's your moment. Take it away.
It feels good to be in this moment because last week when we talked about the World Series, I was the only one to pick Chicago. So I want to drink this in for a second. There we go. Now here's the thing. I do want to say this. I'll tip my hat to the Indians. You made Game 7 fun, but you see, there's a lesson to be learned here. It's called karma is a bitch, particularly you, LeBron James. Because on Halloween night, on Instagram, you made fun of the Warriors, bringing up how they blew a 3-1 lead and all that. What did the Indians just do? Oh, they blew a 3-1 lead. So you kind of are part of the karma that hit them. And also the Cleveland fan base as well, because all we heard when the Warriors did it, oh, they're a terrible team. Oh, how could you blow a 3-1 lead in the finals? And now when Cleveland does it, all those Cleveland fans want to say, oh, it's different because it's baseball. You know, it doesn't matter. You still blew a 3-1 lead. You let your foot off the throat and you let the Cubbies come back. And first for the Cubbies, I want to say congratulations. You broke your curse. I'm somewhat happy for you in the sense of your fan base got to finally see a championship. And I don't mean the bandwagoners. No. I mean the legit fans who have been there and have white hair and are 70, 80, 90 years old, Bill Murray, those kind of fans. The fans that have been there through the worst times of their life. Now, I will say this because Reese, you brought it up, the general manager, I believe. He has now broke 2 curses. The only thing left he has to do is to head to the NFL and find a way for the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. Because if he can do that, then by God, he's the greatest person on sports in the history of mankind. Cubs, congratulations. Enjoy this because you don't know if you're going to get to repeat or not. So enjoy this moment while it lasts, my friends.
No, just give me a moment. I'm just drinking it in, man. That being said, I'm calling bullshit. Are you kidding me right now? Did you just put those senior citizens who were just hanging on just for the Cubs to win the World Series in the same conversation as Bill Murray? Give me a fucking break. Bill Murray does not deserve this little moment. He deserves to get his ass whooped badly for his crappy rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. That's what Bill Murray deserves. But there was a reason why I wore this today. See, the gentlemen that are on the line with me cannot see this one until it's actually posted live. This right here is the 2011 World Series championship ring, courtesies of my boys, the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, everybody knows my animosity towards the Chicago Cubs. They know I'm an asshole when it comes to the Cubs and the Cubs fan base. Have been since the day I was born. I was literally born into the animosity of the Cubs and Cardinals. So I got picked on when I was younger by my friends who were Cubs fans because they had Sammy Sosa, and then we got Mark McGwire, and then it was some good trash talking and jabbing between us all the way through junior high and high school. Then on top of that, it became to the point where we all grew up, but yet the animosity and the rivalry still remains. One of my closest friends in Fort Collins, Colorado, Danny, he's practically brother. He's practically family. That's how I look at him as. Danny is a diehard Cubs fan. And he celebrated championships before. Don't get me wrong. He's a Packers fan, so he celebrated championships before, but he has never celebrated championships for the Chicago Cubs. He is a diehard, beyond a shadow of a doubt. He had been waiting for this moment all of his life and thought he was so close a few years ago, and it just didn't cut it. Then you have my friend Ryan Young. Yes, Ryan Young, the man who runs Ringside Report, the man you've seen on WCC Live every now and again, the man who has Windy City Sports Talk, and I'm sure that he's still trying to get his blood pressure checked after everything that happened to the Chicago Cubs on Wednesday night. So, in all honesty, I understand that he wasn't able to actually join us today because it's still, well, it was the gift of Cubby. He's just drinking it in, man. That's all good. I'm good with that. He is a real Cubs fan. He's a diehard Cubs fan. He trash talks with me, and we've barely known each other about basically Cubs and Cardinals rivalry. So that tells you that you only can trash talk with other people and still be cool with them if they're real fans. But those bandwagoners are the ones that bug me. They're the ones who piss me off. They're the ones I didn't want to sit here and see or hear from after that final out was made. They're the ones I didn't want to see when it was all said and done. Because I know they were going to try to take credit for something that most people have been waiting literally 108 years for. Some people were born 108 years ago and lived long enough to actually enjoy and embrace this moment, and they did. That's what made it beautiful. That's what made it spectacular. That's what made it probably a moment in time that I will never forget. Which brings me to the last two people on my list, Kyle and Alyssa, my two closest friends. Also, the two people who have known me the longest out of anyone that has ever actually known me. We're talking about two people who literally have shared good times and bad times with me. We have literally fought like there's no tomorrow, and we've been good like that because that's how we are. But they're Cubs fans, and I'm Cardinals. Picture in your head how that usually works sometimes. I don't know, Doug. Maybe you should go find out. In all fairness and in all honesty, I'm being a man of my word now because I did say that I was going to do this one. And because a deal is a deal, I am pleased to make the infamous announcement that I never thought I'd ever say. Ladies and gentlemen, TLC will be returning for a ninth season next year. And oh God, I am going to hell. I'm going to say it because quite frankly it needs to be said. TLC, for the first time ever, will have a broadcast from Chicago, Illinois on Halloween night. Yes, folks. Oh, yeah, it's happening. Chicago, Illinois in 2017. Yours truly will be joined by none other than his own brother, the one who actually sat here and gave him the idea of TLC in the first place. That is my boy, Mr. Odell. I'm looking straight at you there, the old fat bastard. I know you basically boasted about the Cubs winning the series, and it's great. You guys finally get to sit here and have one of these in this century. That's what I'm more happy about. What I'm also happy about is that this team actually did earn it. I mean, they were picked to pretty much win this thing from the beginning of this season, and that was pressure in itself. And let's just look at how it worked out for them. They stumbled a little bit at the All-Star break, then went on a tear that they never looked back on, ousted the Cardinals from any chance of postseason play, then took out the Giants and the Dodgers to get to the moment that they saw on Wednesday night, which was basically the Indians almost silencing everybody who was rooting for the Cubs that night. The rain was the only thing that probably would have saved the Cubs, but in all honesty, it was just fate. It was timing. It was the perfect moment. There ain't that many game sevens that actually go into extra innings. There ain't that many game sevens that literally leave me breathless to the point where when the final catch is done, when the final out is done, and the team is still celebrating, and you got Theo Epstein telling everybody who pretty much told him he was gonna fail to go fuck themselves on live TV, no less, that I actually picked up my phone and I called not one, not two, but three individuals to say, congratulations, y'all earned it. You want to know what that is? That isn't me being a sore loser. That's not me sitting here literally trying to save face. That's me saying, I respect the holy hell out of my friends and my family who are Cubs fans that they dealt with me when I was celebrating my World Series wins with my hometown team, that at least for the one moment in time that I remember from 2011 that still puts a smile on my face is when I went to Busch Stadium when the Cardinals played the Rockies right around my birthday. I took two great women with me to that show, and they were family. And I had the time of my life, and it was beautiful. So when it comes down to it for me, I'm basically doing something that hasn't been done before. I'm actually going to say that the Cubs earned this World Series championship. That this time next year, TLC will be in Chicago and then we'll be in Colorado with Danny and Kyle and Alyssa. And they'll all be sitting here showing off the rings that they're most likely going to sit here and order up so they can have that piece of history too. And this is something that
those rings will be collector's items still.
in all fairness, they most likely will be. But what gets me the most about it is that last week I was yelling my ass off that the Cubs did not deserve this one. 7 days later, they showed me that not only did they deserve it, but they can fucking earn it. So my hat goes off, literally, to the Chicago Cubs for one hell of a season and one hell of an ending. And this is nothing against Cleveland, but do yourselves a favor next year. Tell LeBron James to stay the fuck home. Because quite frankly, if it wasn't for LeBron showing up to those games trying to be Billy Badass, you guys probably would have finished it off in 5. Hell, you probably could have even finished it off in 6. Hell, you could have even sat here and had the walk off in Game 7. But instead, you had LeBron James shoved into your face so bad because he is a constant reminder of what failure looks like. Picture the number of times that LeBron fails before he actually did it. And then he had to leave to find that success and then come back and still fail before he found that success again. So LeBron, from the bottom of every sports fan's heart in Cleveland, just don't go to the games anymore in the playoffs. Just stay the hell at home. Practice. Don't even go to the game. Just go to the gym and practice. Because when it comes down to it, the game that you don't even love and the team you don't even love, we've seen the Yankees hats. If you were a true fan, you would have been wearing that even in hostile territory. You don't believe me? Look at John Hamm, who wore a St. Louis Cardinals hat in Wrigley Field. He's got balls. Apparently, he's got bigger balls than LeBron James, and he's an actor. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, I forgot. LeBron James has no dick. My bad. When it basically comes down to it for me, is that the Chicago Cubs earned this one. And I, for one, am proud of the fact that I actually know friends, and real family who are real fans of the Chicago Cubs. So for me and to my family, my St. Louis family, my Cardinals family, and everyone who pretty much hates the Cubs, this Bud's for you. Congratulations. Live it up. And how's it feel to know that you're going to get one of these too? In all fairness, it was the perfect time and the perfect moment because who could have possibly have thought the Cubs would have won the series? Oh, right. God. I'm not talking about Doug spelled backwards. That being said, folks, this has been another great edition of TLC. And of course, we have a lot of great things coming. Check out Doug Barrett's YouTube channel. I've actually come up with a name of it. And it's called Let's Play with Doug Barrett. You can insert your laughs at any time, folks, because quite frankly, that's about as good as it's going to get. If you've ever seen any of Doug's channels, though, he is literally having a time of his life and a lot of fun when he keeps the 12-year-olds at home in their basements, away from the microphones. Please feel free to sit here and take a look at Brandon Knight and Doug Barrett on any of their upcoming shows. And, of course, you can also take a look at Reese. He is literally out and about all over the place. If you have never seen American Ninja, tune in because this guy practically is a celebrity, and everybody in Philly knows Reese. That's about as pretty much as far as it goes. Also, folks, big programming note, I am back. We Talking Wrestling is returning. We did our great show last night. We Talking Wrestling every Friday night on the WCC Live Network, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And in case you ever want to sit here and you want to chime in, we will definitely be taking callers somewhere down the road, hopefully before the end of the year. And I believe I'm missing something. What am I missing? Now it's in my tongue. Let me think. Ah, yes.
I figured some on there last night.
Yeah. And just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all don't, if by some fluke that the Cleveland Browns do the unthinkable, you could send, and they actually beat the Cowboys, you could send get well beers and condolence letters to Doug Barrett at GamePro.com or whatever their website is, or because I have a feeling he will not be talking to me for all next week if by some miracle the Cleveland Browns wind up winning. But consider how the Indians just lost, I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, strange things happen in this world.
You know what? I made this bet this past week, and I regretted it because the Bears won. So let's make a bet then. If somehow, some way, Cleveland wins, I will sing Cleveland Rocks on my YouTube channel next week in Week 10.
No.
But, Reese, if Cowboys win,
to that one.
but if Cowboys win, you have to sing God Bless Texas.
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
No.
First of all, I'm picking the Cowboys to win.
But no. Wait. Actually, no. Scratch that. Doug. Since you said that, I'm gonna do you one better. No, neither one of you are gonna sing those songs on your YouTube channel. You're gonna sing them right here on TLC next week. After the game is over, we will literally rewind the clock, and we will come back Monday, and we will literally sit here and we'll find out who's got the bigger balls between Reese and Doug. And just to be on the safe side, just to make this as fair as possible, I'll even throw my name in the hat. Since how I have nothing else left to lose. If by some miraculous miracle that Cleveland does indeed do the impossible and beat Dallas, I will literally wear a Cleveland Browns jersey for the rest of the season. My season, no less. But if Dallas does what everybody is expecting Dallas to do, and we all know they will, then I will do what I never thought I'd ever do on the face of the planet. I will personally let Doug Barrett do an episode of TLC on his YouTube channel if he has the balls to get in front of the camera.
What?
But
I don't have no pumpkin in front of a camera.
but there is another plot twist on this one. If the Cowboys and Eagles win tomorrow, then Doug, yeah, you'll get to do one of yours on YouTube, of course. But Reese will host two episodes of TLC. That's right. The captain will leave this chair, and I will let Rockin' Reese, the man, the myth, the legend, run this show, the People Show, not once, but twice.
Captain, you know damn good well the Eagles ain't beating the Giants tomorrow. So I was like,
Hey,
yeah, you're safe on that aspect.
hey, I feel surprisingly good about it. And I'm pretty sure I'm so confident about it. I'm gonna ask my daughter, honey daughter, do you think that daddy should let Rock and Reese run the show if the Eagles beat the Giants? See? Even Abby says so. There it is, folks. There is your wager. If the Browns beat the Cowboys, Doug will sing Cleveland Rocks on this show next week, and I'll make sure the music is going so that way he can have it all.
And Doug, I'm letting you know this right now because and just to straighten this out, Doug, I picked the Cowboys to win this game. But I was like, let you know, because every time I have wanted to support you fuckers, y'all have always let me down. So I'm like, this is not to mention, this is my lock game of the week, by the way, just for the record. So, Doug, it's your lock game?
That's his lock.
Yes.
It's an easy lock. It's Cleveland.
I didn't make it my lock of the week.
I'm sorry, Doug. You have to realize Cleveland chokes more than Johnny Manziel when he's snorting coke. Cleveland chokes more. Cleveland chokes more than LeBron James when he has to actually play ball. Cleveland chokes in this case, more than the Indians in the World Series. So it's an easy pick for the Cleveland Browns to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, I'm even going to go out. I'm going to tag team with Reese on this one. I'm going to say the Cowboys are my lock of the week on this one. Obviously, Doug has no fate. So, Cowboys fans, that's your fellow Cowboy fan right there.
Cowboys as my winning, but my lock of the week, because I had to make it, and I couldn't make Dallas again because I did that with the Eagles. My lock of the week this week was the Saints over the 49ers because I did not use the Saints in my pool yet.
Whoa. You do realize you may lose that, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, I couldn't pick Dallas this week, so I used them last week, and once you use them in the pool league, I couldn't use them again. So it's like I had to figure out who I had left, and it was either pick the Saints or pick the Lions, and I'm like, I have more faith in the Saints this week beating the Niners.
Did you? You know what? This is something we're gonna have to do off air, folks. Feel free to basically sit here and chime in anytime you like. Also, check out the new Facebook page for We Talking Wrestling at facebook.com/WTDubs. Always search We Talking Wrestling in case you're trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about. Also, take a look at TLC's revamp page. Yes, as agreed, Kyle Ray. I'm looking straight at you, little brother. If you look on TLC's page right now, you will see the 2016 World Series Champions banner now as the cover photo for our TLC. Check Reese anytime because he's always up and he's always active and always has something to say. And of course, Doug Barrett always on YouTube or internet porn, whichever one he can actually get to first. It basically they all go hand in hand nowadays, so we're not even sure which is which. So on behalf of the mighty Pride of Philly, Rockin' Reese, and of course by the man who puts the little D in Big D, Doug Barrett. Wait. Nope, too late. You had your chance. This has been the Captain Ron Johnson again. Congratulations to the Chicago Cubs for a great World Series win. Kyle, Alyssa, Ryan, Daniel, Buck, you guys, you earned it. So go ahead and get your rings ready because we're going to do some comparisons. When you get yours and I'll get mine, and I'll just go grab the other 10 World Series rings I got to go with your 2. Yeah, I had.
Well, come on.
Love you all. Abby, we'll see you in a few weeks as well. Captain's out, and so is the top guys. This has been TLC.
Back at the same home place, my sweet home, Chicago. Well, come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Well, come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to the same old place, sweet home, Chicago. I know a guy named Kirk. I know a guy named Mitch. I know a guy named Al. She's the son of a gun. Baby, don't you wanna go back to the same old place, sweet home, Chicago?